Okay, guys, come on in. We're going to go ahead and get started. We are streaming this, guys, so our speakers are all going to introduce themselves, even though you all may know them here, but we're streaming people. People are, tuning in on our YouTube channel, so speakers, make sure you do say your name and introduce yourself. So I'm Julie Schrader-Beek. I'm the Director of Athletics, and I am very happy to welcome you all here to Why We Play tonight. This is one of our most beloved events that we host. It started, a program that was started by Jean Hess. She was the longtime and now retired volleyball coach at Kalamazoo College. And she started it in 2001 with the Kalamazoo student athletes. And it was a forum for the D3 students to speak out and to share the power of their sport experience with their campus community. When she talked to the MIAA about this event, we were sold, and we have been doing this since the fall of 2016. Wonderful, powerful event. We ask our students, our senior student athletes, to reflect on why they play their sport, and then we have them apply to share their story. And this year we had a lot of applicants, so it was a really tough decision for us to come to break it down to 4 people. All were wonderful applications, so very, very exciting that we had that kind of response. I know that you guys are anxious to hear the stories of these seniors and walk with them through their journey so we can find out why they play their sport. So I'm not going to talk any longer, and I'm going to ask Emma Keeley to come on up and present. And the order is going to go, we're going to have Emma from tennis, Mary from cross country, Grace from soccer, and then Sam will wrap it up from softball. So thank you. You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Emma Keeley, and I am from Cleveland, Ohio. In addition to being on the tennis team, I am a senior nursing major. To this day, I still remember my first Why We Play back in the fall of 2022 as a freshman. I sat in this auditorium inspired by the story that those year's seniors shared, so I am beyond grateful to have this opportunity to stand up here tonight. Why We Play. For myself, and probably any other student athlete in this room tonight, some days the answer is easy, like when we win big and break a record. But some days the answer is not so clear. Like when you've lost a close match or game, you're not getting back to campus until 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night with at least 3 hours of studying in front of you for tomorrow's exam. And to top it all off, per diem is just $1.14 short of getting you that milkshake at Chick-fil-A. We've all been there, and those days are rough. But we're still here, and we're still playing. So my answer is simple to this question, and I'll tell you why. Ever since I can remember, sports have always been a constant in my life. My parents got my brother and I involved in almost everything and anything that involved movement and some competition. Every summer growing up as a kid consisted of the same daily schedule. My brother Charlie and I would start with swim team practice in the mornings, and then it was off to tennis, soccer, volleyball, lacrosse, and basketball camps. Additionally, my mom would take us with her when she taught her tennis lessons. Sports occupied our days from start to finish. However, I eventually started to primarily focus on 2. I still loved tennis, as that was the first sport I had come to know through my mom, but I started to find a strong liking for soccer, as that was the first sport I had gotten to play actual organized games. In soccer, I loved having teammates to compete, practice, and carpool with. I played on several teams, and the most notable of those being my school's CYO team in 4th grade. At this time, I had several friends who were very good at soccer and starting to play on club teams. One of my very good friends, in fact, had even started talking about playing in college. At the time, for me, playing in college had always kind of been in the back of my mind. I had heard several stories from my mom about her experience as a walk-on who then went on to earn a scholarship at Xavier University for tennis. She would always talk about all the fun memories she had with her teammates, going on spring trips, and funny stories about her coach. I always enjoyed listening to her talk about those 4 years down in Cincinnati. So one night after soccer practice in 4th grade, I came home very upset. I remember that my skills were not progressing as well as some of the other girls, and therefore I was not playing much. Keep in mind, my best friend was the best player on the team, so ultimately, I'd had enough. I came home crying and complaining to my mom, telling her through the tears, I don't know why I'm not better. And in that moment, she put an immediate stop to my pity party. She told me, stop crying and instead do something about it. You need to think, what is your ultimate goal? Those girls devote all their time to soccer. That's why their skills are better. Do you still want to keep playing tennis and do both, or do you just want to play soccer? At this point, most of my time was split between the two. While wiping the tears away, I softly said, I don't know. And my mom replied, well, decide on what your goal is, and whatever you choose, I will fully support you. I sat with her words for a quick moment, and then all I could think about was how much I dreaded going to foot skills every single Wednesday night. So that made my decision pretty clear. I set my goals high at just 10 years old, telling my mom my ultimate goal was to become a Division I college tennis player, just like her. Now, I'm not one to spoil the end of a story, but shocker, that goal did not become a reality. After I told her I had come to my decision, she held true to her promise to support me entirely. Together, my parents took me to clinics, helped me sign up for USTA tournaments, and drove me to lessons on Saturday mornings, rain or shine. They never complained, but always showed up. My mom ready with her phone to snatch a picture or take a video, and my dad a seltzer water and a magazine in hand, just in case the tournament director was running 2 hours behind schedule. I learned a lot during these years before high school, and I was getting excited to compete on a team again with freshman season looming. But my eyes were still on the ultimate goal I had decided upon in 4th grade. My 4 high school seasons were full of excitement, challenges, and lots of important lessons. One of my highs was finally having the opportunity to start reaching out to coaches my junior year. Once my season in the fall had wrapped up, I started to seriously look into some schools and their rosters. Interestingly, the first school that I filled out a recruiting form was at St. Mary's. Now I know what you're thinking. I thought this girl wanted to be a D1 athlete, and you're 100% right. However, at this point, I knew I wanted to be a nurse, and most schools, even within D3, would not allow an athlete to be a nursing major, so I was not willing to sacrifice my studies for sport. Also, if we're being honest, I knew I didn't have the stats or the UTR to be D1 material. So although I did not want to accept this fact, I had to start being honest with myself. So back to St. Mary's. I had actually never heard of SMC, but my mom, growing up in Fort Wayne, had come to several summer sports camps here with her cousin when she was young. I was sitting in study hall at school one day, and my mom sent me a video from the Bell's athletic website of Megan Davey, who was a tennis player and was majoring in nursing at the time. I remember my mom sent me the video along with the text, "Doesn't it just seem like one big slumber party?" I could not believe my mom actually thought I'd want to go to an all-girls school. What? I remember shadowing one in high school and couldn't stand it. What would be different now? Despite my preconceptions, I went ahead and filled out the form, saying to myself as I submitted it, there's no way I'm going to an all-girls school. Then not even 2 days later, Coach Campbell reached out, the very first college coach to contact me. 10-year-old me was smiling ear to ear, but in my head, I kept reminding myself, it's not D1. We kept in contact throughout the next year, leading into my senior season. Now, I haven't mentioned another goal of mine yet that was pretty high up there along with the first one. I wanted to become a state qualifier during at least one season in high school. After coming close the first 3 seasons and losing the last 3 matches of my high school career, I was feeling defeated, burned out, and unsure if I still actually wanted to play in college. I questioned my abilities to play at the next level. I was infuriated, and I was not going to accomplish my 2 main goals after all this time and hard work that I had poured into the sport. I grew resentful, but after some time off, after my senior season, I realized that I still had that love for the game and wanted to keep playing. So in late March, I called Coach Campbell to let him know that I was coming to SMC. I got to campus that fall feeling nervous and excited. I was so happy that tennis started within just the first few days. I was not fully embracing the idea of being a D3 athlete just yet, but I thought getting my uniforms might help. After seeing all the reels of college athletes show off their hauls of gear, I had been stalking the Bell's tennis Instagram to see their uniforms and couldn't wait to add some new clothes to my closet. And for those of you that know me, I love my tennis skirts, especially Lululemon. So after tryouts, the day had finally come. I remember thinking that this is the moment I've been waiting for. Or maybe not. I walk into Coach's office and see a stack of papers with some lines and headings that say, date received and returned. I stop in my tracks, turn to one of the upperclassmen, hoping they say yes to my question. We get to keep our uniforms, right? And right then and there, the excitement drained from my face as my teammate laughed and said, "Are you serious?" But don't worry, I did the next best thing. I saw that some of the uniforms had never been worn, so I dug to the very bottom of the bin and tried to find as many pieces that were new and still had the tags on them. And don't worry, I didn't let that stop me from capturing my haul, even if we had to return it within just 2 short months. Once I had gotten over the false advertising on D3 gear, I couldn't wait to compete. Even though this wasn't exactly what I had pictured for my college tennis career, I was starting to warm up to the idea that it did not matter what division I was playing at. I was still playing the game I had always knew and loved. What a gift. I loved every minute of being with my teammates, whether it was at practice, on the road, going to study tables, or sharing a meal together. By the end of freshman year, I had truly loved playing for the Bells and representing this amazing school on the court. Sophomore year came with new excitement as I now knew what to expect and how the dynamic of the season changed from the fall to the spring. My favorite memory came from this season competing in the MIAA semifinal. We knew going in that it was going to be a battle as we had lost to the tough Calvin team earlier in the regular season. With several factors already playing against us, like not playing at home and a late arrival to warm-ups, we overcame the odds and won in a thrilling 5-4 fashion. My doubles partner, Anna Gardner, and I avenged our regular season loss to help put the team ahead by a point going into singles play. Then, coming down to one court to win it all, Evelyn Demblande-Chans avenged her singles loss as well in 3 sets, sending us to the MIAA finals. This match tested every player's grit and determination, and no one stopped fighting until the very end. To this day, that team win gives me chills every time I think about it. And having the opportunity to accomplish that, wearing a Bells uniform, made me feel so honored and proud to be a part of a program like ours. Throughout my time at SMC on the court, I've come to learn some important lessons. First, plans change. Not achieving that goal of mine to become a D1 athlete after many years of hard work and sacrifice was difficult to accept. However, since competing at SMC, I cannot imagine having the privilege to put on any other uniform than the Bells. Every practice, workout, and match has brought me so much joy, and more importantly, amazing teammates who have become and will remain my lifelong friends. I feel so blessed and thankful that God ultimately led me to St. Mary's. It has been better than any collegiate athletic experience I could have ever dreamed of, because I've never had to sacrifice any of my other interests or passions like nursing for tennis. As a D3 athlete, I've gotten to experience all the other opportunities that come with college outside of athletics. Secondly, because of playing tennis here these past 4 years, I have learned the importance of loyalty and consistency. As we all know, not every day is filled with the glamour of being a student athlete that the media depicts. The life of a student athlete is filled with many early mornings, leaving your dorm room, knowing your roommate gets to sleep in, and long days that end in getting back to campus late, knowing you have to do it all over again tomorrow. When these days come, it becomes harder to continue giving 110%. However, it's not impossible. And it's not impossible because I know I have 9 other of my teammates doing the same thing, continuing to show up not only for themselves, but for one another. They are the reason I keep coming back to the courts, even after the hard days, because they have never stopped supporting me. The lessons that I have learned about loyalty and consistency will forever impact wherever I go in the future and serve as constant reminders of who I want to be and how I want to act. So that's why my answer to why we play is simple. I play because my ability to play and my love for the game, my school, and most importantly, everyone I get to do it with. Anything you choose to commit yourself to will have ups and downs, but if you reflect and look back and only remember it with warm feelings, then you know it was an overall positive experience. That's how I will always feel when people ask me about my time as a Bell. I'll tell them about all the great relationships I have with teammates and coaches who have become family, and memories I have because of the opportunity to wear the French cross. Now, none of this would be possible if it was not for so many people who have supported me and guided me from the beginning. I want to thank God first and foremost, as having the gift of mobility and health is something that I have come to appreciate and have so much more gratitude for over these past 4 years. As a nursing student, I have seen firsthand the toll that illness and immobility not only takes on the body, but also the mind. I realize more now than ever the ability to just get up in the morning and stand on my own 2 feet without any help, let alone run, jump, and everything in between, is such a blessing in my life. To my parents, there is not enough that I could ever say or do to thank you for supporting me since day one. Between all the time you have given up to come watch me play, to the financial sacrifices you have both made, I thank you. I would not be the hard worker that I am today if it was not for your example that you role model every single day. To Charlie, thank you for being the first one to foster that competitive edge within me through rallies on the driveway, ping pong in the basement, and being an unconditional supporter of me. To Lavelle, who's been there since the very beginning, thank you for all the laughs and lessons on Saturday mornings on Court 8 in the back. You fostered my love for the game, and I am so grateful for you. To my high school coach, Rocco, thank you for pushing my buttons and growing the competitor within me. There are so many lessons you taught me that went far beyond the game of tennis. Still to this day, whenever I am down in a match, I can still hear your voice saying, "Fight," rattling in my head. You have had such an impact on my life, and I am so thankful to have been coached by you. To my teammates at Walsh Jesuit, thank you for teaching me how to be a teammate in an individual sport and creating such a supportive environment on the courts. And last, but certainly not least, to everyone at SMC that has been a part of my tennis career. To seniors who have come before me and paved the way, Lucy, Kaylin, Annika, Kathleen, Elena, and Katie. Thank you for welcoming me with open arms and fostering that sense of pride in me of competing as a belle. To my current teammates, thank you for making me excited to come to practices and matches every day. There is no other group of girls I would want to compete with, and I am so thankful for each and every one of you. To Coach, Midori, Franca, and Franca, thank you for the opportunity to play and your unconditional guidance day in and day out. Coach, you have helped me make this dream a reality of being both a collegiate athlete and a nursing student. I know that it has definitely not been easy, especially this past year, but I am so appreciative for your support and flexibility. And on top of managing all the scheduling chaos, you have accomplished creating an experience that not just values ending a season with a winning record, but getting to do it all with a team that supports one another and gets to make fun memories together that I know I will definitely share with everyone who crosses my path in the future. Thank you, Coach. Lastly, I want to thank Julie, Melissa, the trainers, and Taylor, and all the other coaches in the athletic department for being supportive of my time here at St. Mary's. Thank you, and as always, go Bells.
I feel like I should use my teacher voice here. All right. Hello and good evening. My name is Mary Weber, and I am a senior captain on the cross-country team from Naperville, Illinois. I've been running on the team for the past 4 years, and I am an elementary education major with a mild intervention minor. Sports have always been a part of my life. As long as I can remember, I played all the sports I could. In 5th grade, I started running cross-country. I joined because I wanted to do all the things and be with my friends. And my cousin told me that I might have some fun. I never would have guessed that I would be here right now running college cross-country. It was something that never crossed my mind and almost didn't happen. Throughout grade school, I played for the love of running. I didn't know much about cross-country. I just went out there and ran. At every meet, we did a course walkthrough, and our coaches guided us through the course. I loved being out on the course. After my first ever season, I didn't want to stop running. Throughout grade school, I had so much fun. Each year, our team had different coaches, but all of them encouraged the love of running. Throughout grade school, I played lots of different sports, in addition to cross-country. But cross-country was different. There was something special about running and cross-country. There was no doubt in my mind that I was never going to stop. Then my freshman year of high school rolled around, and I had been thinking about possibly swimming. But then I realized I couldn't give up running. The first day of cross-country practice, I felt so at home among all of my new teammates. I met people who would become my best friends for a long time. The team culture and camaraderie between all grade levels was something so special. The races felt more serious than grade school, but I felt more serious about running. Even if it was a grueling track workout that ended with some of us puking afterwards, there was always something good or a lesson to come out of it. Sophomore year of high school was one of my favorite years. Even though the world shut down in the latter part, the fall was really epic. Cross country was a blast. I made the varsity team that season, which was really exciting. We had a really close-knit team, and the team culture contributed to our success. We were all racing really hard. For me, each race felt like a new start, a chance to be better than before. Our coach pushed us to our limits because he believed in us. And it all came together at the end of the season at the state meet. All of the blood, sweat, tears, and determination came to this moment. I was running alongside 6 of my other teammates. We were running for each other. When the gun went off, all of my nerves went away. I just ran. I ended up running the fastest I'd ever run in my life. We won the state championship. I trusted in my teammates and myself, and good things happened. The atmosphere that came with cross country was unlike anything in middle school. Running was my stress relief. It probably sounds cheesy, but running is where I felt at home. I remember my last race of senior year of high school. I crossed the finish line, running my season PR, and it felt like the end of an era. I had made the decision not to run in college, but there was a part of me that didn't want to hang up my spikes just yet. There was a thought looming way, way back in my mind about what if I wasn't done yet? What if I still had more to give? So flash forward to the summer before freshman year of college. I had spent the summer swimming, working, hanging out with friends, and running wasn't really on my mind, but it was looming in the back. In late June, I went to St. Mary's with my mom for a summer visit day. On a whim, we decided to go over to Angela, and Julie was there, and I told her how I was interested in possibly, strong emphasis on possibly, running in college. She gave me Jackie's contact information. I thought to myself, what's the worst that could happen? I had zero pressure on myself. So I reached out to Jackie and we talked. After the phone call, I knew that St. Mary's cross country was something special. Our call reminded me how much I still love this sport and being a part of a team. When Jackie talked about the team, I realized that this was something I really wanted to be part of. If I didn't make the team, it would be okay, but it couldn't hurt to try out. Freshman year was a whirlwind of fun. I still remember our first practice so vividly. It was Julia Babowski's birthday and we all dressed in pink. I remember being so nervous as we stretched, but then it was time to run. All of my worries went away when we started running and we chatted the whole time. I quickly got settled into a routine with classes, cross country, and everything else. Each race was a new chance to get better. I felt like I was running anew. Everything was new again. I ran new distances, I ran new workouts. I had no expectations for myself. I just went out there and ran. As someone once told me, don't think, just run. I had a grateful attitude and just ran. I enjoyed every moment, no matter what it was. Through the hardest of workouts, I learned the most about myself. And Jackie was there every step of the way, encouraging us all and believing in every single one of us. Freshman year and the first semester were definitely difficult at times. There were many times I could have given up. I could have decided cross country wasn't for me. But that's not what happened. When college got difficult, I didn't quit. I played for my new team and all the support they showed me. Even though I was a newbie, they welcomed me with open arms. I loved being a part of the team. It felt like home. Freshman year reaffirmed my love for running. Sophomore year was even better. It was a blast. I was coming off a summer of training and running, and I was eager and excited to get started. Our team was a small, tight-knit group. This season, we started a new tradition of creating vlogs that would continue over the next couple of years. The vlogs had a way of getting everyone loose and pumped up before the race, and just excited. We also had a tradition of getting Starbucks post-Saturday long run, or post-meet, or pretty much whenever we could. The team culture contributed to our success on the course. Each week we towed the line, giddy, excited, and ready to race. We were just vibing. We supported each other on and off the course, and it showed in our races. It was definitely hard at times, but I kept showing up and giving it my best. Our camaraderie and team culture were like what I had in high school, and what I loved about high school. At championships sophomore year, I trusted in myself and the training from the entire season. I let any worries and nerves go and just ran. I thought back to the state meet when I just let everything go and just trusted in the team and myself. And good things did happen. I ran a collegiate PR. Sophomore year reaffirmed my love for running. Sophomore year was a year of growth. After a stellar sophomore year, I couldn't wait to get on the course again. I couldn't wait for junior year. Oh, junior year. I felt like I was reaching my stride, pun intended. The year started off so grand and wonderful. I was so optimistic about how the season was going to go, and then it all came crashing down. It is a strange feeling not being able to breathe while doing something that requires a lot of breathing. It felt like someone was stepping on my lungs. This was pneumonia. In a split second, all of my running and training were out the window. It wasn't like I was injured. There were no exercises I could do to fix the problem. My legs felt great, but my lungs did not. The doctor's orders were no running. I had to do nothing. I was speechless. Things could have gone many different ways. I could have become angry and frustrated at the situation, but I decided to accept the fact that I wasn't able to do the sport I loved, but I was still able to show up for the team. The team was the family that had been there for me and supported me. Now I was able to do the same. Quitting or not showing up was not in my vocabulary. So I came to practice. I listened to my teammates, and I encouraged them as they prepared for the races. Running has always been a part of my life, even before I started cross country. I grew up playing soccer. I always played midfield, and I loved to run. I loved running up and down the field, and no matter how many times I fell flat on my face, I still got up and kept running. During my junior year, I knew that overcoming this obstacle was going to be challenging, but I still had to get back up and keep going. I could have given up. I could have said that I was done with running because it got hard, but I didn't. I kept showing up because I knew that it would get better. My grandma always told me that this too shall pass, and it did. As I was sidelined for part of my junior season, I thought back to how differently things could have gone. I didn't plan on running in college, and now I wasn't able to run in college. It was a strange paradox. Now I couldn't imagine my life without college running, but during my junior season, I had to learn to live without running. Cross country has left a major impact on me. My gratitude for running was immense. I had become so accustomed to running, and now it was strange without it. I would not be the person I am today without running and cross country. I learned that through the toughest battles, you come out a stronger person. I learned to trust myself, and you will achieve so much. Now, in my senior season, I am enjoying it all again. I'm having fun. Every day is a day to be grateful to run. I'm back to where I was running before I got pneumonia, and maybe even running faster. More and more this season, I've cherished all of the runs, all of the workouts, and all of the races, and especially the banana phone. I've trusted in myself, my teammates, and my coaches, and good things have happened. As my senior season is coming to an end, I am confident that I'm not done running. I know that there is more waiting after the finish line. Through every finish line, setback, and comeback, I've learned that we don't just run for ourselves, we run for each other. Thank you to Julie and Melissa for letting me share my story. Thank you to all of my coaches throughout my life. You have made me the runner and athlete I am today. I am forever grateful to have crossed paths. Thank you to Jackie for always believing in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. Thank you to my mom and dad for always supporting me and coming to my races no matter the weather or the distance. Thank you to my family and friends who have supported me and believed in me. Thank you to all of my teammates. I am forever grateful to you. And thank you to St. Mary's Cross Country and my teammates. Without you, I wouldn't be the person or runner I am today.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Grace Herrera. I'm from Rochester, New York. I'm a nursing major with a minor in Spanish, and I am on the soccer team. My life was ruled by chaotic energy, mostly self-inflicted and often targeted at my parents. My mother was unfortunately subjected to my favorite game, evicting pots and pans from the kitchen cabinets and covering the floor with them. My father was a victim of my unusual boundless chaotic energy, which he often compared to a tornado. His usual Sunday worship and prayer were interrupted by my chaos, turning into a manager and taking me out of mass so I could run up and down a ramp until I got tired. Fun fact, I never did. So, like any fed-up, baggy-eyed parent who governed over an unruly child with more energy than their tired bodies could handle, they did the next best thing to contain me. They put me in sports. I adored every moment of it. Little 4-year-old me would be bouncing up and down in my baggy shirt and shorts that reached past my knees. I was on cloud 9, thinking I was the coolest kid ever, being on the soccer team. I had an excuse to run around endlessly without getting yelled at. I just remember being filled with joy, running and kicking the ball, and zooming past everyone to score a goal. And of course, I can never forget the orange slices and popsicles after games. Eventually, I graduated from the recreational level and was enrolled in my town's local club called Penfield Strikers. A majority of my soccer career was here, as I played with them from 4th grade to my junior year of high school. These coaches and teammates helped me hone my skills in such a warm and encouraging environment. They made me feel important and an integral part of the team. The running gag on the team was, Rita never gets tired. Send me out in that field and I was all over the other team, disrupting their play and creating opportunities to score. We were an unstoppable force, winning many tournaments, rarely losing a game, and winning our championship every single year. Being with these girls made me feel the love and so much joy in soccer and helped me lay the foundation of my work ethic. Every summer since 5th grade, I religiously spent a few hours on my own, practicing juggling skills and running with a ball. I practiced in the living room, in the basement, wherever and whenever I could. It was fun. It made me happy. Unsurprisingly, I'm also an avid runner. I ran my first 5K in 5th grade, placing 2nd overall in the women's division. I vividly remember thinking 3 miles felt impossible to run and that I had to be prepared for it. So I would go onto the field in front of my house and run laps over and over again. The neighbors must have thought I was crazy. This jump-started my running career, for instead of joining my middle school soccer team, I decided to follow my friends and run cross-country. Oh boy, what a career I had. My mile times were close to 6 minutes. I placed 7th in my first invitational, 3rd in my second, and the remaining 6 invitationals, I placed 1st in every single one. I bolstered a similar feat the following year, winning a majority of my races and being in the top 5 in competitive meets. Eventually, my cross-country coach took my parents aside to discuss my future in running. She told me I had a bright future ahead of me, with the possibility of competing collegiately for D1 schools. However, I was torn between soccer and cross-country, since both occurred in the same season.
My coach warned me that based on her own experience, soccer would be riddled with favoritism and disappointment. No matter how good you are or how hard you work, sometimes you just ride the bench and end up being disappointed and losing confidence in yourself. While she hoped this would not happen to me, she said that cross country offered me the opportunity to thrive and build upon the foundation I had already set. In the end, I chose soccer, but sometimes I wonder if I chose wrong. The first 2 years of my high school career began on a positive note. I played as an integral starter on my high school's JV team. In practice, I worked as hard as I could in every single drill we did, taking every sprint, tackle, and goal opportunity seriously. I'm tired never entered my vocabulary. Additionally, I joined the basketball team in track and field. In basketball, I helped the team have its most successful season in years. And in track, I specialized in steeplechase, an event where you run 5 times around the track, jumping over massive hurdles and a water pit. I ran a stellar time of 8:07 by the end of my season. Things were looking up for me. I felt important. I felt wanted. I felt on top of the world. Until I wasn't. My varsity soccer career was all but positive. For reasons unknown to me, I wasn't liked by my coach. I recall spraining my ankle in practice, and when it happened, she didn't turn my way. She didn't run to me to make sure I was okay. She simply told me to get off the field. I couldn't even stand, but I feared perceived being weak. So I held back the dam of tears that flooded my eyes and slowly scooted off the field. I begged for some ice. She told me I didn't need it. Yet, later that season, one of her favorite players got injured, and within a heartbeat, she was at that player's side with an immense concern radiating from her face. She helped the player get up and walked with her to the sideline, getting her some ice. That must be nice. She wouldn't play me. Now, I don't put the blame entirely on her. For some reason, I started getting slower, more tired. Running didn't feel free anymore. It felt suffocating. Anxiety crept into my mind, echoing the same thoughts. You are not good enough. I remember trying to run a mile, and the entire time I was suffocating, dragged down by my cemented legs and negative thoughts raging through my mind. But I wasn't going to let what my coach thought and my fading joy stop me from overcoming these challenges. If my skills were lacking, I needed to practice more. If I wasn't strong enough, I better start lifting. I worked harder than anyone on that team, and if I wasn't going to play, I was going to make sure those who did deserved that spot. No matter how hard I worked, how hard I proved myself, I still sat on that bench. Even in the few minutes I got to play, I made a difference. The movement was more fluid, and my senior night, I made a pass that created a goal-scoring opportunity. I was taken out immediately after that play. I was only been on that field for 7 minutes. My teammates started to notice my work ethic. Towards the end of the season, I remember walking with one of my teammates and her saying, "You literally work harder than anyone on the field. Why isn't she playing you?" I turned to her and simply replied, "I wish I knew." After we lost our sectional game, our team manager came up to me and said, "Never stop working like you do." That has stuck with me since. The possibility of college soccer had never crossed my mind, especially after my varsity season ended. I thought based on my performance and lack of play, I could never compete at the collegiate level. They were all probably 10 times better than me. I had joined another club that was run by a coach who specialized in preparing girls for college soccer, and most of my teammates were already committed to various colleges across the country. Though I doubted my ability, he had the confidence that I could walk on to the St. Mary's soccer team. So I betted on myself, religiously lifting, running, and practicing my soccer skills. Getting on that team was my goal, and I was going to get it. When tryouts came around, I outran everyone on the fitness test, and I played harder and faster than I ever had during the scrimmages. 3 of us tried out for the team. On the 3rd day, Coach Farhad sent 2 of them home. He asked me to return the next day for one last tryout. The next day, I nervously met with him, afraid he might tell me I was cut from the team. He led me down to the locker room and opened the door as my teammates joyously welcomed me to the team. Tears filled my eyes. Excitement and relief filled my lungs. I had reached my goal. I had made the team. But the work was not done yet. I had a greater ambition in mind. I wanted to be a difference maker on the team, help the team to victory, and be a starter. Yet, at that present moment, I wasn't strong enough, fast enough, or skilled enough yet to be there. So I did what I do best. I went to work. Inspired by Holly Scripps' work ethic and spectacular biceps, The gym became a part of my daily routine, both in season and postseason. I would spend 3 hours every day lifting, doing plyometrics, sprinting, running long distances, and banging a ball repeatedly against the walls of Angela. I met a group of guys in Notre Dame and routinely played soccer with them to get tougher. I sacrificed my free time for soccer and schoolwork. It didn't matter if I was exhausted, aching, stressed out from school. I was working hard as I could to get better. The summertime after my freshman year rolled around. Every day I would get up early and go for a long run, then lift, then in the evening play with soccer with some other college players to improve my skills. All of this I did on top of working 36 hours a week. That summer, I developed more confidence becoming an integral player for St. Mary's. When it rolled around, it started positively. I started my first game, but then as the season progressed, my minutes declined drastically. I had fallen short. I wasn't good enough. So I went back to the gym, lifted more, ran more, and banged the ball against the wall more. Junior year rolled around, and I thought for sure this time I had it. I was faster, stronger, and more determined than ever. But I fell short again. I still wasn't good enough. So I rinsed and repeated the cycle, and a thought began to creep into my mind. Maybe my cross-country coach was right. Transitioning into the summer of my senior year, you would think that I would do as I would always do. Get back in the gym, practicing my skills, keep pushing my limits, doing crazy and insane workouts that make people's heads turn, and keep persevering to reach my goal, right? But I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't put on my cleats. I couldn't do anything. A run felt impossible. Kicking a ball filled my head with dread. Existing felt impossible. Thinking about practicing made my lungs fill with searing emotions that crushed my chest, making it hard for oxygen to enter my lungs. My insides knotted and twisted inside me, compressing and expanding my body at the same time. My mind screamed in agony, clouding my thoughts with one singular thought: you are a failure. From dawn till dusk, for 2 months, I was a shell of myself, spending days moping around the house and nights sobbing over my insufficiencies and failure as an athlete. The sport I had dedicated years to felt as if it had taken all my passion and slapped me in the face. I no longer felt joy in playing, but rather suffocation and affliction. What was the point in playing another season when the risk of failure seemed inevitable? Why would I play for a sport that caused me to silence my tears on bus rides home from games because I wasn't adequate enough to play? Why do I play when I'm told straight to my face that my strengths are my weaknesses? Why do I play when I'm told hard work and dedication will earn my desires, yet I continue to fall short every single time? Why do I sacrifice friends and the college lifestyle for the sake of something that does not love me back? Why do I play soccer when it gives me no more joy? So what? Do I just quit? But I can't quit. If I quit, I'm just reinforcing that I'm a failure, that clearly I didn't try hard enough, that when it finally got tough, I gave up. But if I quit, maybe I'll be free from the agony that constrains my mind, that one that skewed my perception of what I viewed as a failure versus a success. Failure to me lied in the conception steeped in perfection. An 86 on a nursing exam that I spent a week studying for, that was a failure. Not being able to salvage a crumbling friendship, that was a failure. Anything less than perfection, anything I felt I could control but couldn't, was a failure. I had failed soccer. I had failed my team. I had failed my parents. I had failed myself. I was immobilized by my own fears and anxieties. You will never be strong enough. You will never be good enough. I should just accept my fate. There's no point in trying if you're not wanted. Just give up. Who is this even for? But then I realized it was all for her. The hours I spent honing my skills, running through the cold, the wind, the rain, the snow, the days I spent incredibly sore after lifts and games, were all because she loved soccer. She just wanted to run. She just wanted to play like there was not a care in the world. That if I made a mistake, it's okay. She doesn't care. She still gets to run up and down that field. She still gets to do a cool move that makes the crowd go wild. And she still gets to make a difference on that field. Even when it's rough, she's still having so much fun. Because we never stopped working. We never stopped trying to prove that we can be better for ourselves and our team. I blessed her with 4 more years of competitive soccer. She helped me find my joy in the darkness, and she is what got me out of bed when it felt hard. She is what got me to keep pushing through the hard sprints and intense drills. She is the one who never gave up when I wanted to. because she still wanted to prove something to me, that the sport cannot take away our joy, it can only elevate it. She took my hand and we started running. On that day, June 29th, I ran 5 miles. Were they slow? Yes. Did my chest burn and my legs feel like noodles? Yes. Did I feel amazing afterwards? Yes. My family stuck by my side. My dad formulated a workout plan for me. My little sister lifted with me. My old coach invited me to play Wednesdays and Saturdays in the summer league. I ran in the morning, lifted in the afternoon, and practiced my skills at night. Even if I had to work a 12-hour shift that day, I would still come back home and play soccer. But that is not to say that I still wasn't agonizing over the future and harboring the feelings of the past. They still plagued me every day. And the night before preseason, I sat in my room, tearing at the covers, banging my head, sobbing uncontrollably, with the intense feelings of isolation and agony. It still felt like the end. I still felt insufficient. I proceeded to inaugurate myself as a failure, worthless, still behind. It hurt. No one ever tells you how much it hurts, how you just spiral endlessly. But I showed up, and I crushed that fitness exam, running around that lacrosse field with a time of 5:39. I felt calm and composed during practice, and I finally earned my spot as a starter. I scored a goal against Albion to tie the game 2-2, and I had 3 assists throughout the season. It was a long, hard, and painful journey. I thought I had lost all my joy in my sport, but the little girl in me didn't give up. I struggled so long and hard to appreciate myself and the gifts that God gave me. She helped me learn to love myself and believe that I am capable of getting my goals. I just want to thank the little girl in me who didn't give up, who didn't let the anxiety overcome her and take away what she felt was precious. She just wanted to see me happy. And quite frankly, I think she did. So to anyone who has felt the same, to anyone who has lost hope in themselves and capabilities, just remember who you did it for. You did it for the little kid who thought it was cool that got to run around and kick a ball. You just had fun and loved life. That is what sports are all about. Just have fun, enjoy the process, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something. Bet on yourself. Anything is possible if you reframe your mind to remember how free you felt as a kid playing your sports. I want to thank everyone who has believed in me. Thank you to my past coaches, Coach Junta, Salva, Hansen, Craig, Stryker, Brown. Thank you to my St. Mary's College coaches, Tyler, Kaylin, Farhad. Thank you to my brother Tim and sister Liz, and my little sister Sabrina for letting me use you as a practice dummy. I hope your hand feels better. Thank you, Hannah and Danielle, for helping me with all my sprained ankle injuries. Thank you to my mom for always being a light in my life and a symbol of perseverance and resilience. Thank you to my dad for supporting me in my sports journey and coming every single day, and for supporting me in my sports journey by coming to every single game I had, no matter the weather. Thank you for always showing up for me. It meant the world. Thank you to my current teammates. You all made it the best possible season to end my collegiate career on. Thank you for the laughs and the joy that you all helped me find. I love you all. I love you all. Rita, out.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sam, and I'm a senior on the softball team. I'm from Naperville, Illinois, and I'm studying elementary education in hopes of becoming a 4th grade teacher one day. My life has always revolved around sports, but in the grand year of 2008, I was 5 years old when I began playing softball. I have been blessed with 2 siblings, Emily and Matthew. Emily, my older sister, graduated from SMC 2 years ago and played soccer her entire life, including 2 years as a belle. My younger brother Matthew is a sophomore at the University of Nebraska, pursuing a degree in sports, film, and broadcasting, hoping to one day be on the sidelines working for the NFL. And that leaves me, the middle child, feeling like the luckiest girl in the world with 2 built-in best friends. For as long as I can remember, the 3 of us played just about every single sport imaginable. There wasn't a season that the 3 of us weren't crammed in mom's back seat for hours every night, traveling from one practice or game to another. Some of my best memories are those long nights with my mom and siblings racing around town to get everywhere we needed to be. For the first few years of competing in sports, softball took a back seat. I thought I had a future in volleyball, basketball, or even soccer. One of my favorite stories is about the moment I realized I was not meant to be a soccer player like my sister Emily. We had just moved to a new town, and I joined the soccer team when I was about 8 years old. After practice one day, my coach asked if anyone wanted to try being goalie. There was a long, awkward silence, so I eagerly raised my hand. I was so excited, the team cheered for me, life was good. But when I went home to tell my parents, they asked me why on earth I volunteered to do that. Yeah, 2 games later, I took a ball straight to the face, went home with tears and blood, and decided soccer was not for me anymore. I always loved basketball, but was never quite as committed as the other girls. My dad used to tell me if I made just one basket, I'd scream on him after the game. So whenever I scored, I immediately looked to him to make sure he saw. Thank goodness for bribery. Volleyball is probably my favorite sport next to softball. I even had a meltdown my freshman year of high school, telling my parents I wanted to quit softball to pursue volleyball. That has gone down in family history as one of my most dramatic moments. But through all the seasons of trying basketball, volleyball, even tennis and soccer, softball was always in motion. It never got old, and I never wanted it to stop. It has been the one constant in my life, something that I've always depended on. I became a pitcher during my second season of softball when I was 7 years old. None of the other pitchers showed up for our game, so my coach asked my dad if he thought I could pitch an inning or two, and since then it's been my thing. Learning to pitch has been one of the most rewarding responsibilities of my life. Softball is a game of consistency, stacking days upon days to build success. You can spend hours at the field or in the weight room, but it often comes down to one moment of execution that determines the outcome. With that being said, it has led me to see that softball is a game of inches. What I mean by this is that a pitcher can miss their spot by 1/10 of an inch, turning a routine fly ball into a home run. A middle infielder can be one step late, turning an out into a single, and a hitter's bat angle can be just slightly off, resulting in a pop-up instead of the game-winning line drive. Like I said, the game of inches. Inches can work for and against us, but they are what produce success, demand focus, and build discipline under pressure. That's the mental game, the toughest part of all sports. Pitching in particular is a craft that takes years of practice and patience. Results never come quickly, and there are countless hours filled with frustration and self-doubt. The reason I love being a pitcher is because it has taught me an unbelievable amount of mental strength that I'll carry throughout the rest of my life. As a pitcher, you are expected to be mentally tough. No matter how good or bad your day is, you cannot let it show. Some days I am resilient enough to take on this expectation and have a mind of a goldfish, as some people say, and other days I get in my head and want to hide from it all. The truth is, softball and sports in general revolve around a world that we all fear, failure. Failure has been with me from a very young age, especially when on the mound. I have failed more times than succeeded over my 15 years of pitching. The thought that I might let down God, my teammates, my coaches, my parents, and even myself is always in the back of my mind. More recently, I've struggled most with the noise of failure. Noise from others, my own doubts about the future, and the world's voice telling me that I'm not good enough or just not capable. There is always so much noise constantly circling around us athletes. Many athletes throughout all of our sports have this expectation that we will not meet failure and that there will not be a time in our career where failure will get the better of us. Every athlete has experienced a form of failure in sports, in our daily life, in relationships, and in work. The pressure to be perfect, especially at the collegiate level, is immense. The noise affects us mentally, physically, and sometimes it may carry us throughout multiple seasons of our sports and life. But heading into my final season, I can confidently say that failure has shaped me to be the best version of myself. Someone who finds fake or real confidence to get through the days, who builds up others in hopes that it can change a teammate or a friend, and who sees growth and light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how far ahead it seems. Failure builds resilience, and resilience carries us through life. Noise is never going away, but it's up to us as athletes and as people to look through the noise to find peace and reason. My advice is to find just one person who truly believes in you. If you have one person who sees you in a different light than the rest of the world, then you are incredibly rich. There are so many blessings sitting beside you right now. Find that person to get you to your light. The end of the tunnel, or the light at the end of the tunnel, is bright and filled with the best version of you. All it takes is one person or friend who quiets your noise. For me, I've been lucky enough to have had that person following along with me since I was 5 years old, my dad. Softball became our thing. Whenever I do anything on the field, I look for him. I always know where he is, and when things go great, I hope he is smiling. And when they don't go great, his reaction recenters me. When I know my dad is watching me, I feel a sense of peace and joy that I am making him proud. He has taught me how to be a leader, to seek patience through frustration and drama and obstacles, and to find a clear perspective on this simple game. We spent countless summers standing inches away from our TV yelling at the White Sox, or calling out pitch sequences, working together on strategy, and so much more. But the best part as to why my dad is my person in the softball world is that he reminds me each day to block out the noise. We used to have a saying when I was on the mound called "lock in the mechanism," where he told me to block out all that was around me and just play my game. I didn't understand this phrase at 10 years old, but it means everything to me now. It has helped me remember that no matter what is being said around me, all I need to do is find my happy place. Playing for him, something greater than myself, has brought me to a different light. Above all, my dad and mom have taught me to meet God on the softball field. When I was in 2nd grade, my dad gave me a silver cross necklace. He always told me that when I had this cross on, I was protected, especially when on the mound. I've worn it to nearly every game since, and this cross has seen better days, but still to this day, the superstition in me freaks out when it is not with me. The cross reminds me to talk to God, to draw strength and perspective from Him, and to be grateful for every moment I have on the field. I feel God everywhere, and that brings me peace. My dad giving me the gift of the cross has taught me that I need to rely on God more than anything or anyone else in this world. God, through softball, has given me so many beautiful blessings. On my glove, there are 3 things written that have been there since my senior year of high school. My dad's initials, so that every time I look down, I see why I play. Secondly, a cross that reminds me that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And finally, the verse, James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4, which gives me a clear perspective on the game of softball. It reads, "My brothers and sisters, whenever you face any trials of any kind, consider it nothing but joy, because you know that testing your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking in nothing." Which to me means count it all joy. So what are the joys of Bell's softball? Well, to me, Coach handing out our parkas the first day it's below 60 degrees, de-tarping our field at 6 a.m. in the freezing weather, locking in together before game day in our very messy locker room, group prayer before practice and games, getting really, really out of breath during Team Tree and Rainbow, a drill we do in our warm-up, being on spring break and getting a softball bingo, which means ice cream on coach, high fives after every drill, setting up the pitching machine and reminding myself the pitching machine doesn't define you for the 900th time that day, pushing dining hall tables together for our team dinners, open field front toss with country music on an off day, and the greatest of them all, wearing bells across my chest for every game, the joys of Bell softball. I remember being a first year dreaming of this season of life to get here, but recently I've been emotional because I do not want it all to end. St. Mary's and Bell softball have shaped me into who I am. I have met the most amazing people who love me, who want me to succeed, and who want me to be the best version I can be. I'm forever grateful to my parents, my coaches, my roommates and friends, and my teammates for their love and belief in me. Lastly, to leave us all on a good note, there's one statement that Coach Jordan says to us just about every competition day, which is, "Leave it better than you found it." Most of the time when we hear that, we know something of ours is a mess. The dugout, the locker room, the bus, you name it, it's probably our fault. Leave it better than you found it. What does this mean? To me, this phrase reminds me to do something, even the smallest thing, that will leave an everlasting impact on all of those around me. Whether that be building a relationship with one of my teammates, to inspire them and to remind them of their worth and capability, or connecting with other athletes and convincing them to pursue through 4 years of playing, because while there is hardship, there is a much greater reward on the other side of it all. or even leaving a legacy of leadership and hard work to make things better for who come next, leaving it better than you found it. I inspire you all to use this mindset whether you have 2 weeks left in your senior season or beginning your first time as a first year. This season of life is going to fly by in the best way possible, but to make it fulfilling, to make it challenging, find something to leave better than you found it. My hope this season is to leave Bell softball better than I found it through my actions, my mindset, and my leadership. There are so many reasons why I play, and my hope this season is to make them all proud. Thank you all for listening. I wish you all the best as you continue your collegiate careers. And to my team, let's rock this 2026 season. Go Bells.
Sam, you don't get to sit down. I want all of you to come back up on this stage. We want to thank you guys. This is not an easy thing to do. And what wonderful, inspiring stories. You guys, thank you so much for delivering those and sharing them with us. You did a beautiful job. And you guys, please let's give them one last round of applause. Thank you, guys. Oh, wait. Whoa, 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 whoa. Picture.
Come over by the podium so that we don't have to forget.
Then let me move out of the way.
In front of it.
Is it end or stop? End or stop?